article, we're probably spending around 20 million rand a year.
3 years ago, almost exactly, the Seli 1 ran aground during stormy weather. The vessel was under-insured. The owners of the vessel subsequently abandoned the vessel and have refused to take responsibility for any of the costs, which meant that effectively the South African government had to deal with it.
Right.
So these are ones that you're washing from. So they're mostly out of, you can see like this guy for quite a bit on his face. Yes, sweetie. Not finished.
Especially if you have weak birds, you can't wash for more than an hour at a time. If they start dropping, if they start getting weak, we stop washing straight away. A lot of the birds, if they're really, really oiled, it takes more than one wash for us to get all the oil off of them. So we have to be really hands-on. We have to be quite physical with the birds, and you always got to be aware of, you know, they are animals. You can't, you know, they're really stressed out a lot of the times.
Most people know that major oil spills is a concern for especially penguins because they cannot fly and they cannot get away from the threat. But chronic oil pollution as a result of ships dumping oil or wrecks leaking oil, such as the Seli 1 that we've just seen here in Cape Town, is a concern for us. We know that some animals that are oiled at sea never make it to land, so it's really difficult to quantify the impact of chronic oil pollution over the long term. We cannot only look at the number of birds affected by oil to quantify the impact, but we do know from research that many birds do die out at sea.
I would think that in the 3 years since the Seli has been there, surely something could have been done. It's distressing for beach walkers, it's distressing for the penguins.
That's been a very successful campaign or project elsewhere, which we have just from the US, from Chicago, where it's very successfully been implemented.
It looks set that the national government will supply the additional funding, that we will then be able to do a complete salvage of the remainder of the wreck, and that will hopefully resolve this once and for all.
We're very blessed in Cape Town with the natural beaches that we have. They're white, sandy soil beaches. They tend to be quite long and undulating, and so we have to protect them at all costs. We know that our summers are becoming longer and hotter, and some of the precipitation levels in the soil are decreasing. But on the converse to that, winter's becoming shorter and more compact. So the risk of extreme natural events has risen.